Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and wait, hang on a minute. So, did you know that there was an AUT update out? Because if you weren't in the Discord, probably not. I don't really know what's going on over there, and I know, I'm a tester, so maybe I should, but for some reason, no one decided to update the game icon or the game title when they put it back online. I guess they just assumed that everyone's in the Discord and got the ping that there's an update? Whatever, doesn't really matter to me that much. Anyways, AUT update's finally here. I know I didn't cover the previous one that basically exclusively added a new map, so I'm kind of lumping that update in with this one just to be safe. There was basically nothing in that other than the map, and there's not a whole lot here either, so I think it's safe to chunk the two together. Since it's already 1:50 p.m. while I'm recording this, and I usually post these kinds of things around 12, and I didn't know the update came out until I was going to bed last night because it came out at 11 p.m. last night, I'm gonna try to blow through things as fast as possible so I can finish this up as fast as possible so you get what you need to know about the update, and I don't not put out a video about it until Monday. So let's start things off. The map. The new map is pretty cool. I like it. I don't really have any complaints about the map because, well, you guys already know that I barely, if ever, play any main game, so the actual way the map works and the way it performs doesn't really matter to me. So far, I've heard good thing about performance. The whole idea of remaking the map for the third time is to make sure that performance is good. I went on record last time saying I liked the old map, the one that was really large, and I still like that map, but you know what? It makes sense for them to shrink it down, especially for performance purposes, so well done there. One gripe I do have with the map though is these invisible walls. Why are they here? I don't understand. Why didn't they just put a wall here? And yes, this came up in testing. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that or not, but I'm going to. When people were testing the map, they did comment on the fact that there were jarring invisible walls for no reason. Were they fixed? No. Oh well, they'll probably get fixed sometime soon, I hope. The best change in this update, though, wasn't even the new spec, and I know that's what you're all thinking it is. No, the best change about this update is your settings saving. Oh my god, thank Christ. Having to turn off the music, turn off screen shake, turn on gore, all this stuff every single time you load it into a server, every single time you load it into a 1v1, every time you did it, literally anything was so frustrating, and I am so glad that that's finally a thing of the past. Not only that, but AUT's done something that I haven't seen in any other game I've played so far, and that's individual sliders for all the different sounds in the game. That way, rather than just totally turning off the music or totally turning off sound effects, I can tailor the sound effects and the music to however I want to hear them and whatever volume it is. That means when they consistently drop the ball on audio levels and make things way too loud, I can just go into the settings and go, nope, it's not too loud anymore. And you know what? That is awesome. Hats off to whoever thought this was a good idea because it was a phenomenal one, and I am so glad that it is here. Now, the last two things on the docket are obviously the skins and the new spec, as well as the candy system. And the candies, well, I kinda got lost here, and I'll explain why. I understand why they decided to do the candy system, don't get me wrong. They wanted to make a system that would keep people playing and not make it too hard, while also not making it too easy. But the candy system does fall into the classic AUT trap of being just a grindy thing for the sake of being a grindy thing, and there isn't really any meaningful feeling behind it. I think this is just something that consistently happens with this game, and I think it's a problem that's incredibly difficult to solve, and I don't envy the position they're in. But the candy system, didn't hit for me. What is the candy system? Well, in order to get the new spec, you need to get 800 candies, and in order to get any of the skins that were added in the update, you need to get 200 candies per skin. There's a few ways that you can obtain these candies, either by playing 1v1 matches online, opening chests, or finding them when they spawn around the map in main game. Now, the actual values on these are that you get 5 per chest, 1 spawns every 30 seconds in the main game, you get 15 for killing a boss, and you get 15 for winning a 1v1. It may be playing a 1v1, I don't know. I hope it's playing a 1v1 and not winning a 1v1, because if it's winning a 1v1, oh lord, that was an oversight. Anyways, as for the maths, I hope I didn't totally screw these up, but based on what I saw, it should take you 6.66 hours of just waiting for the 30-second candy spawns if you want to get all 800 candies to get the spec, or 6.2 hours of 1v1s. The way I got that metric is that every 1v1 takes 7 minutes, which is about average for a 1v1 game. So if you really like playing 1v1s, you can play them for 6.2 hours, but assuming that you have to win every game of 1v1s, which I think is what it said in the patch notes. Actually, you know what? Let me just check to make sure. Yes, it does read here that you need to win 1v1s. So assuming that you won every single 1v1 that you played, it would take 6.2 hours, and if you lost some, oh god, and that's not even considering longer matches or games that are broken or waiting for matchmaking. So in other words, the takeaway here is if you're trying to do this through 1v1s, at least mathematically speaking, don't bother. Hands down, the best approach to getting the candies, without a doubt, is to go into main game, preferably on a private server, that way you can monopolize all the candies to yourself, and just run around with a bike picking them up and opening up chests. Because of that chest factor, it'll definitely reduce the amount of hours that you actually need to go do this, but overall, eventually, you'll get it done, and you can unlock the Candy Cutlass spec. Before we move on to the Candy Cutlass spec, like I said, I don't think the candy system is very good. I don't think it was very thought out personally. But again, I think that is my personal choice, and I think when you put feet to the fire and you're like, we need a system in order to unlock this new spec that isn't just stuff we've done before, then I can respect where it came from. It's just that playing 6 hours of 1v1s or running around the main map holding E on stuff isn't really that unique or interesting of a gameplay element. But it is what it is. Moving on, Candy Cutlass. This spec is super cool, and I like it quite a bit. Unfortunately, I have not spent 6 hours running around collecting candies, and because of that, we're going to the test server, baby! That's right, I'm cheating. The test server, you get access to everything. Hopefully I don't accidentally leak something. If I do, sorry in advance, I'll take my firing now. Anyways, with Candy Cutlass, I'm just gonna do a quick overview of everything it can do in case you're curious. M1s are actually not a pretty standard affair, as they work fairly differently from basically every other ability's M1s. You have a standard 4-hit combo where the 4th hit knocks you back, and the M1s have more stun than a lot of the other M1s, meaning if you M1 trade with people, you'll usually win out. But the thing is, your M1s, after you finish using them, whether you stop after 1 hit or all 4 hits, is really long, and you can see that cooldown at the top right. That means that doing combos that involve M1s a lot of the time is a lot harder because the cooldown is a lot longer. It's an interesting take, I like it. Sword Slashes is your E. It's basically a barrage that activates with 1 button press, and unlike other barrages that activate with 1 button press and can't be canceled, it doesn't knock back, which makes it a solid combo extender or a combo starter. One thing to note about it is it does have slightly more stun than your M1s, allowing you to combo some stuff off of it that you wouldn't normally be able to combo off of otherwise. Your R is Naughty List, which is a simple grab that deals 30 damage, knocks back, and the opponent has invincibility while they stand up. T is a really interesting move called Ice Stampede, where after a short windup, you'll smash the ground, damaging anyone that's right in front of you, and summoning a rain cloud that, well, rains on the opponent, and each raindrop does a hit of damage and stuns the opponent. This move can be used for area denial, waiting for cooldowns, or in some combos that I'll show off later. It will get canceled if you get hit though, so you've got to be careful. Your Y move is Second Degree Burn, where your character pulls out a hot mug of hot cocoa and throws it at your opponent. This move is quite slow to come out, and is basically only ever going to be used as a combo extender in a combo I'll show later, but it should be noted that it also applies a light blinding effect to the opponent hit by it. Your F move is Insulin Spike, where you impale the enemy with your sword, throw them to the ground, and then shoot them into the sky with a load of candy spikes. This is your best combo finisher, as it does the most damage out of all the combo finishers you have access to. V is Sugar Spikes, which is a projectile. After a short windup, you'll shoot 3 spikes at your enemy. If all of them hit, you'll deal 45 damage, and the move stuns, as well as applying a heavy blind effect that forces your opponent to look at the ground in order to even see you. And finally, your G move is Sugar Rush. This is a 30 damage heal that also applies a light damage resistance to the player. It lasts for a good while that you can see at the bottom of the screen. Plays some music, has a cool effect, but contrary to common belief, you're not invincible. so don't think you are. And that's all of Candy Cutlass's moves. That's the whole moveset. I'll throw some combos in the background while we talk about my final thoughts on the update. First of all, while I was recording this, of course, because why not, they decided to change all the values that I just talked about. They made it so that you get 5 candies per candy you pick up, 30 for winning 1v1s, and basically I think they just about cut everything in half, if not more. Did some math, assuming that the values are still the same, it should only take 2.5 hours or so in order to get the spec, rather than 6 if you're just running around picking up candies, which when you consider the fact that a lot of people in main game are fighting over candies right now, that's probably reasonable, makes a whole lot more sense. But I'm not going to go back and remove the stuff I talked about earlier, because I think the principle still stands with the fact that they put it into the game, knowingly having it take 6 hours to obtain things, knowing people would have to fight over these. I think the point stands, the criticism stands, even if they changed it after the fact. It's too late for some people, because I know some people already spent that time to get the spec, and that's crazy. If anything, I'll leave it to deter stuff like this from happening again. But you know what? Good on them for making it so it doesn't take 6 hours. Thank you. I was only about halfway through, so whatever. Overall, I know a lot of people are really upset about the update. They're mad, they were expecting there to be a whole bunch of stuff, and there wasn't. There's one spec, there's some settings changes, and there's some skins, and that's about it. And so, you know what? I understand why people are upset, but I am not upset. And I think that probably comes down to the fact that I don't play as much as you guys, so I wasn't really looking forward to the update as much as you, as well as being able to cheat. I already knew what was going to be in this update ahead of time, so my expectations were set, whereas you guys were not. So I think in that sense, I'm definitely biased. I'm also comparing things to YBA, as I always do, and YBA has gone like 6 months without a single new spec or stand. And this game having to wait 2 or 3 months and then getting one is not the end of the world when you look at it that way. But again, I can see why people are upset. I understand it. I think it might be a little bit unwarranted, and some of the crazy things people have said that are just outlandish and hateful probably shouldn't have been said, but it is what it is. Kids are gonna be stupid. With that though, we're wrapping up here. I might do a Candy Cutlass review sometime soon. Maybe not, we'll see. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't, feel free to dislike, but I won't see it anyway. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.